It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso on S3, and it's a Health Tuesday.
It is.
Feel Good Breakfast Show. It always is. And this morning we are focusing on alcohol dependency, which can have both short-term and long-term effects on the body. And the impact of alcohol on individuals can vary depending on factors such as amount consumed, frequency of consumption, individual tolerance, and overall health. We've got to focus on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here to chat more about the effects of alcohol on your overall health are dietitians Claire McMahon and Clara McCloonan. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. You're laughing that I say it wrong.
No, I just think it's bizarre that our names are so similar.
How's that?
There's something about your names, I'm not going to lie. There is something there, hey?
Yeah, no, look, I'm glad we're talking about this. Thank you very much once again. Bright and early. I know that it's super, super early, and you're literally our first guest this morning, so well done. But I'm glad we're talking about this because alcohol consumption, let's talk about it in a general sense. First and foremost, what are the effects? Let's talk about it, the digestive organs. What happens inside when we consume alcohol?
Do you like to?
Yes. Yeah. So, look, I think majority of the population loves to have a little drink every now and again. That being said, you know, alcohol does have some negative effects on our digestive tract. So, our digestive tract starts in our mouth. When we take a sip of alcohol, a small amount gets absorbed into our mouth lining, and it gets converted into quite a toxic substance called acetaldehyde, which is a cancerous agent. And this can result in cancers of the mouth, throat, and tongue. So that's something that we don't really want. Moving down into the esophagus, alcohol can increase gastric secretions or acid reflux, which is more commonly known as heartburn. And recurrent episodes of heartburn can cause corrosion of the esophagus, leading to inflammation and again, inevitably leading to esophageal cancer. Looking at our stomach, it can decrease the release of acid production, and we actually need acid in our stomach to get rid of any unwanted bacteria. Therefore, it can result in the overgrowth of really bad bacteria. Looking at our liver, we know that our liver gets rid of any unwanted substances in our body, and again, when alcohol goes into our liver, it gets changed into that cancer-causing agent. So again, resulting in cancer of the liver. And then lastly, looking at our pancreas, it can irritate our pancreas, causing pancreatitis, which can be an extremely painful condition if you do get it.
Sorry, and just to add one more there.
Yes, please.
When the metabolites of alcohol get down into our gut, and particularly our large intestine, that's actually quite irritating to the lining of the intestine. So gastrointestinal disturbances. Often, I'm sure people who have overindulged will relate to this, bit of diarrhea the next day, but that can cause quite serious damage to the intestine as well if it's taken in excess.
This puts a really big spin on, do you want to go out for a drink later?
Yeah.
Do you want to go out for like organ failure later? That's what it sounds like. Goodness.
Well, I guess there's a difference between going out for a drink later and going out for numerous drinks repeatedly day after day after day after day.
So that's very important, all right? Moderation.
Moderation. I know everybody hates moderation. It's so very boring. But really, the rules for alcohol are 1 or 2 drinks a day for a woman, 2 or 3 drinks a day for a man. And you cannot save all your units of alcohol up and drink them all on the weekend. There's a lot of evidence to show that binge drinking nothing all week and then really overdoing it on the weekend is almost more dangerous than regular moderate drinking.
Well, after what Clara said, I can fully understand it to be so,
Yeah, I mean, if you look at hydration as well, you find that if you are going to overindulge, you almost can't sleep because the hydration levels in your body, they seem to be completely messed up. And what is that interaction with alcohol in the body, especially when it comes to hydration and electrolytes, and how that seems to change so drastically when you do overindulge?
So there are a couple of things that happen here. Firstly, alcohol increases urine production. And if you're urinating more, you're going to be getting rid of electrolytes.
There we go.
If you really overdo it, of course, you might vomit, and that's further going to deplete your electrolyte imbalance. And then we know that alcohol disrupts the imbalance of certain key electrolytes like magnesium, sodium, calcium, phosphorus. And a lot of that electrolyte imbalance is part of what we're feeling when we have a hangover the next day.
Clara, after what you ran us through the entire process from top to bottom, literally.
Almost.
In the long run, if you are engaging in excessive drinking, what does it do with regards to, because you heard about the intestines, with regards to nutrient absorption. Because, I mean, obviously that is very important for us humans. We have to eat, we have to get all those nutrients from our food. What happens when we drink too much with regards to that?
So as Claire mentioned, alcohol can damage the lining of the colon, but it actually does that throughout the whole digestive tract. And when it damages these organs and these cells, it inhibits them to absorb, process, and metabolize our nutrients as best as it possibly can. So it's also important to know that our body will prioritize digesting and metabolizing alcohol over any other nutrient first. Okay. So due to that, we can have, or that can definitely lead to nutrient deficiencies, specifically focusing on your B vitamins and then your calciums, magnesiums, potassiums, and zincs.
Okay, this is, it's fascinating, but you and I are not done with the questioning. We've got a couple more questions coming through. In fact, if you have any, 063-408-8863. In fact, in a couple of moments, we need to ask about some of the foods that perhaps may mitigate some of the negative effects of alcohol, so make sure you stick around for that as we continue with your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. Right here on S3, it's lovely to hang out with you this morning. And right now, we are continuing our discussion on the effects of alcohol on your overall health with dietitians Claire McMahon and Clara McCloonan. Now, drinking has different effects on different people, depending on their weight, the sex, and metabolism, and it all can be influenced by a number of risk factors, such as the amount consumed, an individual's medical history, and tolerance to alcohol.
So we did chat to you a little bit about asking Claire about some of the foods that may be helpful in mitigating some of the negative effects of alcohol. And I feel like it's an important thing because not that we want to find a hack to try and mitigate some of the effects, but I mean, are there foods that could assist with regard to those negative effects, perhaps if you do want to give somebody a little bit of a fighting chance at the beginning of an evening?
So
what do they call it? Lining the stomach?
That's correct, my friend.
I think we need to remember that alcohol is quite a toxic chemical.
Yes.
And there aren't any magical foods that are going to take the damage away. But one of the things that can make the effects of alcohol very much worse is not having any food in your digestive system.
Yes.
If you've got nothing in your stomach, you're going to absorb alcohol much faster. Your blood alcohol level is going to go up faster. The effects that Clara discussed on your GIT or on your gut are going to be accentuated.
Yeah.
So if you're going to enjoy a drink, it's quite important to have enjoyed some food beforehand. And I guess if we're talking about health, then maybe that should be healthy food, not just chips and sweeties and things.
Carbs.
So a meal, a little bit of carbohydrate, a little bit of protein, to replace all those electrolytes and vitamins and minerals that alcohol affects, something that's got something fresh in it, fruit, vegetables, salads, those sort of things.
Okay. Clara, I want to come to you now because you ran us through all the negative effects from top to bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Can moderate alcohol consumption in any way be beneficial to our health? Because we all heard, a glass of wine per day, a glass of red wine specifically, maybe.
Interesting.
Can it all be beneficial?
I'm definitely not going to be the flavor of
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
of answering this question. So as dietitians, we follow evidence-based research. So I'm going to just lead with that.
Okay.
And last year, so this in 2022, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, actually released a statement that said, yes, even though past literature has said that a moderate amount of alcohol can be beneficial for individuals, specifically for cardiovascular diseases, they are now saying that that's actually not true. And even individuals who do consume a moderate amount of alcohol within the limits that Claire described earlier between males and females, it can increase the risk factors significantly for cardiovascular diseases, certain cancers, and unfortunately death. So we also have to look at what is moderate alcohol intake. Some literature does say that it's less than 1 unit of alcohol per day, and others say between 3 and 4 units of alcohol per day.
So a unit would be a glass?
Yes, yeah. So just to put it into layman's term, there's different types of alcohols as well.
Yes.
So there's a difference between a beer and a shot of hard liquor. So 1 unit of alcohol is defined as 350 milliliters of beer. So I think that's just your regular beer sizes. For wine, it's 125 milliliters, and that's about that much. So it's not
half a glass.
It's not the glass that we pour at home. And then depending on the size of your glass.
Yeah.
But
I've got different sizes of glass at home as well, yeah.
And then for your hard tack, such as your whiskeys, brandies, gins, vodkas, it's one single shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want to make it clear, there's a difference between a home glass and a glass you get at a local restaurant. Okay.
There really is.
Very, very different. You get one as a professional pour, the other one is an emotional pour. You must know the difference between these glasses. But just Claire, just to come and bring it back to some of those practices and best practices for anybody who'd like to enjoy a home glass or an away glass, entirely up to them. I mean, are there some of the things besides what you mentioned, healthy eating, making sure that there's something in your stomach? Are there any other things that you should be considering? If you are going to have a night out, if you do have a business where you are taking on clients and you know that there is going to be some consumption ahead, do you have any of those sort of basic principles that we should probably be thinking about?
You know, I think one of the tricky things with alcohol is once you've had a glass or two, you lose track and you get carried away.
Yes.
And the next thing, a glass or two, is 4 or 5 or 6.
Correct.
So one of the important things that I always advise my clients is just be aware of how much you've actually had to drink. And things like wine are really tricky because everybody's topping your glass up all the time and you lose track as to how many you have. Okay. So keep in mind how many units of alcohol you're actually having.
Yes.
Be careful of the things that you're mixing with your alcohol. So if you're drinking spirits and you're using a lot of sugary mixes with them, then we've got the bad health effects of the sugar on top of the alcohol.
Yeah.
And that boring term again, do it responsibly. Be careful how much you have. Pace yourself.
Yeah. Just very quickly before we wrap up. You know, I've also heard it's good practice if you do drink, let's say a glass of wine, to drink a cup of water with it to help dilute. Is this something that is true? Because I've heard people speak about this, to kind of, you know, break it up a little bit with a big glass of water between, you know, alcohol consumption.
Look, it's going to hydrate you.
Yes.
It's possibly going to slow you down. It could land up actually accelerating the electrolyte imbalances because the alcohol is going to make you urinate more. Now you're taking on a bigger volume of water, so you're actually getting rid of more fluid.
Yeah.
So once again, it's not a magic bullet. Drinking water with your alcohol doesn't take away the effects of alcohol, but it can help you to stay a bit better hydrated.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that's a very good lesson to you. Don't lie to yourself. Please keep track. And if alcohol is indeed a problem in your life, there are channels for assistance. Alcoholics Anonymous is one of them. The number is indeed on your screen right now, and there is help out there. If you've got any more questions about alcohol or its consumption, please drop us a message on 063 408 8863. We'd love to answer it.